Good evening, Reds. Welcome to Jarvis's Corner, MUFC Realist TV. Hope you all are doing well on this fine Monday night. Today, I have a good show put together for you. We will talk a lot about the Liverpool game and all the stuff that happened in that game. I have a special guest today also, but that's a secret. You will see soon. So just give me 10 seconds and I'll be back.
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume. If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it to a whisper. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We can roll the image, make it flutter. We can change the focus to a soft blur, or sharpen it to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your television set. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to
Hey, Stu Woolley, how are you doing, my friend?
John, good. I love that intro. Absolutely
Yeah.
love that intro. It's so cool. It
It
kind
is.
of gets you going, doesn't it? Gets the old inner
Pumped up.
you pumped up. Yeah, I'm good actually. Yeah, the mighty Tipton Town lost yesterday, unfortunately, 2-0.
No.
Yes, we had an hour and a half's journey to Tewkesbury, and we got turned over by Staunton and Corsa. So congratulations to them. They played very, very well. We didn't play too bad, but you can't win them all. So I missed a little bit of the match yesterday as we were travelling back from the game. But you hear a lot. I know we're going to the game anyway, but you hear a lot of rumblings. You hear a lot of discontent, mainly from the scum side of the Northwest.
Yeah.
I Liverpool. A lot of crying, United didn't come to play. Well, here's a gentle reminder of the rules of football, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't score a goal, you don't win football matches, just so you know. And particularly to our Liverpool friends, if that's what you want to call them, you didn't score a shagging goal, so you didn't win. And you can complain and moan all you like, and some of our fans can turn around and say, we were dull and we were boring, but there are times where you have to put a professional performance on. You have to just roll down the shutters, take the makeup off, get the gloves on, and see what happens. And, did we ride our luck yesterday? I don't particularly think we did, no. Should Liverpool have scored? If they should have scored, they would have scored. Should we have scored? Same for us. If we, we would have scored. I actually think we had the better chances, clear-cut chances, if I'm being honest. And they weren't taken. Garnacho's one particularly grates me because he didn't cut across Alexander-Arnold, because two things would have happened. A, he would have just got a shot off, or B, it was a pen. So, it was one of those, really. So I think, you know what? We're 7th. We're 6 points behind City, if my math serves me correctly. And we've got a tough away game this weekend. My lad's going. My lad's going.
Oh, cool.
He's away at West Ham, and I shall be there on Boxing evening. I've had a ticket off the missus to go. She's let me go. So Jakey's got a party with his girlfriend, so I get the ticket.
Yeah.
And Villa, I think we can beat Villa. We can definitely frustrate Villa. I think we can beat them. So you know what? I'm happy.
That's fantastic, Stu. You summed up all my talking points in 3 minutes. So that's the end of the show. Thank you guys for watching.
And that's it. I should go right now. Sorry about that,
guys. No. Fantastic. But how did Tipton Town lose 2-0? What happened to your strikers? Can't you score goals?
So we're woefully short up top, to be honest. We played okay defensively. For about the first 10 minutes, we couldn't quite get our act together. I was suffering from a hangover of what I don't quite know. But Friday night was a bit of a Christmas party night for the team, and a little bit of wine with the good lady on the Saturday evening. The game should have been the Saturday, but it was transferred to the Sunday. So I'm blaming that travelling distance. You know, us old fogies, we need 2 hours warming up. So we had a bit of a dodgy spell where we conceded the first goal, but we didn't actually concede the final goal, the second goal, till about 93 minutes. And I think by then we hadn't got ourselves back into the game enough to create the chances that we needed to score. So, 1-0, 2 was neither here nor there. But, we gave a reasonable account of ourselves. I got away with a couple, really. I might have seen a card or two, potentially. Whichever way you look
You're
at
old
it.
school, You're old school. I bet you like it.
Yes, I did.
When you play center.
Yeah, I accidentally headbutted somebody, which was it was a bit of an accident.
Ooh.
He kind of got up, and for some reason I was looking down at the same time he got up, and he kind of cracked me on the head. But one of those things.
Well,
I
know I played football all my life. I know that things like that happen, and I'm glad that VAR didn't look at all my games when I was
exactly.
Time.
I might have dropped off somebody's knee. By accident as well. Purely
always accident. Yeah, that's the way it is.
No, but I loved it. It was a great game. Really enjoyed it. But we're now off till I think we've got one between Christmas and New Year, and then we're back properly on the 7th, I think.
Okay, cool. I can't wait to hear about your next game next week. So I just want to say hi to the VAR room. I see here we have Stephanie Griffin coming in to say big up Jarvis Corner. Better than Monday Night Football all day long. So I agree. Thank you, Stephanie. I see here Lucky Singh comes in. They say next games Casemiro will look to start along Aaron Van Bissaka. I bet he's trying to say. He will probably play because Dalot is out with a red card suspension. I hear if people want to give us a retweet, we will have more people watching the show. So if you just push the link, we will go directly to Twitter, and you can press retweet and like. So we will get the word out to people who knows that the show is going on. We have a old legend of the chat. We have Jamie Wayne coming in. He say, "Damn, I missed this channel." Yeah, we have missed you too, Jamie. Good to have you back, pal. Very good to see you. We have Neil Driscoll. He comes in and say hi, Jamie, and hi, everyone. Good to see you, Neil Driscoll. Did you know, Stu, that Neil is actually a season ticket holder at Old Trafford? So maybe you have met him sometimes.
I did actually, yeah. Neil, he doesn't float across too many channels, but I have seen him pop up in a couple of chats that I've been, shows I've been on, and he has mentioned that Neil's a bit like myself, very old school, and
I know. I like Neil. He has very good opinions when it comes to football, but he's old school, and I respect that.
Knows the history and trajectory of Manchester United, and he can follow the flow with it. And he's a little bit like me in his temperament. Yes, we get upset, but there's an understandable side to it. So yes, good to see Neil. Love Neil.
And we have Sanjay in the house. Big up, pal. We have Ashid in the house. Very good to see you. And of course, the legend Jonathan Borg is in the house. He say hi, guys. So hi back at you, Jonathan. Let's see who else is here. We have Kevin McGee. Good evening, all. Good evening, Kevin McGee.
Kevin.
And Mark Davis is in the house. He said, "Good evening, guys. What do you think? What do you both think of the game yesterday, Mark?" Yeah, we will come to that, Mark Davis. We will talk a lot about the game. That will be actually the main talking point of the show, and we will try to analyze it as good as we can. Craig Warby comes in. Big up, Jarvis and Stu. Good to see you, Craig. Who else do we have here? And we have Welsh Girl 68. Great to see. We got some of our better players coming back for the new year. Yes, Stu.
Yeah.
Do you know who's back? I saw today that Christian Eriksen is back in training again.
Yeah, so I saw that Ericsson was back in training. Casemiro's been on the grass, hasn't he, for about a week, maybe 10 days. Malacia is due back next week, and I think Ahmad is due as well. So it's good to get those players back. How they'll react and interact again with the group will be interesting. But if you believe reports anyway, some of them might not be with us at the end of January. So it's if you believe reports, so it's going to be quite an interesting one. I did talk about.
I heard they went. One of the executives in Man United went to Saudi for a couple of months ago, but they didn't get to sell any players. They didn't strike a deal with anyone. So
at this point in time, they're saying, but then again, we didn't know about this Van der Beek deal, did we? That kind of like came out.
No.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see one of these two go. But the interesting thing about this is, and I know we'll talk about the game, but if you remember, I spoke 2 weeks ago about the potential that we should maybe look at exploring Mainoo and Amrabat as a twosome, so to speak, in the midfield. So it's good to see that eyeing itself out on Sunday. Although a lot of people were slating Amrabat, they didn't actually watch him, to be fair.
Yeah,
they were slating him without watching him.
Twosome? It's better with a threesome.
Oh yes, twosome wasn't quite the duo is what I was aiming for. Duo. Oh yes, and a big up and a Merry Christmas to you all, because next Monday will be Christmas Day. So I don't know what guys.
We will see.
Sorry for hijacking. I heard somebody calling for that intro, and I wanted to do like, you remember Garnacho and I can't believe it, like bicycle kick, like,
Yes.
And I just want to take my roses. Thank you so much for the compliments for the chef who made the intro. And you talked about clear-cut chances, and I want to come in to say that, what about Sir Jim Ratcliffe, 25% cut? That's not a clear cut, you know what I mean? And then you were talking about Boxing Day, and I was instantly thinking about the game and thinking like, good morning, Vietnam. We went to war. We didn't tap out. We went into the boxing ring.
Yes.
We had a swing, and we got up as a winners, even if we was a draw, but it was still a great win. And then you were talking about fine wines, Dewey, and all I can think about is my beautiful espresso. How you doing?
So
big up, everyone.
All I can think about today is my Lemsip to get the big up, everyone.
Good to see you guys. Good to be in this
show. That's a great mug, Stu. That's a great mug. This is.
You're trying to mug me.
We have zebra, elephant. What else do you have there?
So we
got
the animals. Elephants. We got tigers. We got a camel. This is a present off my little girls.
Beautiful! And, it looks like a little bit of this balloon. You make this balloon.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I love it. I absolutely love it. They also, by the way, got me a Mr. Grumpy mug at the same time. So, I'm not quite sure what they're trying to tell me. But
what do you mean? You're not grumpy.
I'm never grumpy.
Thank you for the invite, though.
Yeah, great to have you on, Mick. I just want to say hi. I see new people arriving. We have Box coming in. They say, yo, we have Ivo Bosic coming in, say morning.
Good morning.
And GB, George Best, good evening, Sir Jarvis, Stu, and apparently Mick now, because he was my secret guest, but now
Secret
he's
Santa.
here. So,
Secret Santa.
Secret Santa.
I missed you all. I want to be a part of this late night show, even it's like 4 a.m. in the morning where I am, 4:20. I want to say happy Merry Christmas to everyone. Yo, Jamie, when I missed you too. I missed you, Stu, as well. So it's good to be here. It's good to be here drinking salty Liverpool tears. Liverpool tears.
Yeah, we have Lou and France coming in and say hello, everyone. Good morning, Mick. Good evening, Jarvis, in French or probably
she's not French.
Canadian.
No, Canadian.
No, that was abysmal, Jarvis. I'm going to have to say it. That was.
Listen carefully. I will only say this once. Jarvis in the Simbin, orange card.
Oh, René. Okay.
René. Oh, Chate. Oh, la la.
You're fluent. And we have Lily's United coming in. They say, hi, everyone. First time in my life. I don't watch United games versus Bayern. COVID-19 poor game. I was in the mountains. I need to badly break from this team. That's probably the best thing to do if you're feeling stressed, because it's just football. You got to take yourself away from it if it's get too much. So big up Lily's.
just do like Uncle Jimmy's advice. That was brilliant. Like, just be a fan, just disconnect, just watch the game, love the game. Don't get too emotional attached because it's a roller coaster. The only difference is we on this channel, we cannot take a break. We have to press record, win, lose, draw. Sure. You know what I mean? So we're always here for you guys. Merry Christmas panel in the chat. Big up to you, Dev. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Dove147, one of our brilliant members as well.
And something we forgot, we forgot to tell people to hit the like and subscribe and share and be joyful and tell everybody you know about the channel. So, and please hit the like. That's the currency we need. We need that like to keep going. That's what keeps. That's
where we're going now, Jarvis. You know where we are going. I tell you where we're going. I tell you what you want. I really, really want. I want 20,000 subscribers before the end of the year.
Yes.
We are 19,832 subscribers. So we are not far away from the target by the end of the year, people. If you're new to this channel, if you haven't subscribed, please support this channel, support this team. And we are on the road for 20,000. If you really like this balanced approach, non-clickbait channel, you know where to hit. Thumbs up.
Yep. What? Well, you want to dig in and start with the show, or should we chat a little bit more with the BRM?
Well, who's in here? Let me see.
I have a good comment from Jarle, actually, a question. He says, it's question mark, sell Maguire in January. Passage, the dude is holding the ship afloat for the moment. Maguire performance has been really good, and in the last is the last player I want to sell right now, because Passage say you want to sell Maguire. What do you guys think? Should we just cash in if we can get like 35 to 40 million for Maguire at the moment?
Yes.
You say yes?
Yes, McTominay, Maguire as original plan in summer. That's my opinion. That was always the plan. But apparently we are broke. We don't have money. We lost 75 million due to missing out on Europa League. We need to stay competitive. So if we have to sell to buy, we do it, because we need to out a lot of players, to be honest. We know that Van de Beek is going out for a loan potentially, I think.
Yeah, he's in Germany this today, actually. Medical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about your opinion?
Maguire
I think Mick's right. The logic would suggest you sell Maguire and McTominay. You got to doff the cap to Harry Maguire, though. You just got to doff the cap to him and say, "Well done, mate." He stood the test of time, that bloke.
Do we need to sell Stewie to get a better replacement, or
no?
Should we keep
never?
Him? We keep him.
Never.
He's a
keeper.
Sorry, he's a keeper. He's a keeper. He's a keeper.
Let me look at the empty drawer here. Snicker bars. Where are they?
Where are the Snicker bars? Yeah. Listen. Good evening to Sanjay as well. Goose evening. I really like goose evening. Yes. Goose evening to you as well. And you're correcting yourself to say good evening. We have Neil Driscoll here. Ashid is also here to say good evening, guys. Now everyone is practicing different languages. Goose and good. Goose and good.
This is how we are international community.
Yeah.
That's a
Lucky Singh is here. Jonathan Bark, Mark Davies, Craig Warby, the big old Welsh girl is here. Great to see that we are back. Big up to you, Welsh girl, as well. Who else we want to shout out? Bestie from New York.
A real big one in the house.
Who is that? Who's the big?
We have Mr. Rush.
Rushy. Big up, Rushy, man. Seriously. And we do have a announcement, because we did the bet, and there was Stephanie Griffith to say if we have a result, she will come in and have a say. I don't know if you listened to the last podcast. Maybe it was a win, but we are looking forward to have Stephanie voicing her opinion as well. Everyone that wants to come in and have a say, we're looking forward to have a Christmas party. Probably we're looking to launch it next week, just before Christmas. Call-in show, have lots of guests coming in, and everyone is free to come in and have a say. Lillis, big up to you. I can hear what you say. Mental health is important. Dan Smith is here as well. The same old usuals, like, the loyal community here as well. So big up. Let's kick off the show, guys. Let's do this.
I was stalling a little bit because we were waiting for Tom Journalist 1 and Uncle Jimmy to come in. They are both running a little bit late, so but we can just start and get going. So I just want to ask you in the beginning. We just covered the game a little bit, but like going down to it, Liverpool, they had us under pressure for the full 90 minutes. I would say Admiral Rex, big up. They had us under immense pressure all of the game, but I felt the game was like a boxing match, and we held our guard up high, and they kept punching, but they didn't hit us anytime. They had one big chance, as I could see it with who was it? It was Gakpo who had a header from close range, and we had a couple of chances. The one with Garnacho 1-1, and the one with Hojlund 1-1 with Alisson. So how do you assess the game afterwards? Were you nervous during the game, or did you feel that we had control? Or what's your emotions during the game?
Should I start or you start, Stuart?
I'm asking Stu.
Are you asking Stu? Okay.
Yeah.
Go Stu.
There wasn't really many emotions during this game because, if you believe everything that you hear, you read, and as fans we were feeling, you kind of, it was one of those. Your expectations to what you're expecting were probably different, and what the result came out was different. Here's the thing. I predicted 0-0. I had a feeling going into the game we would actually, and I'm on record as saying it, by the way. I think you were in the chat, Jarvis, when I said it.
Yeah,
and,
true.
I predicted 0-0 because I just had this feeling.
You did, yeah.
And I felt that it was something to do the fact that we would go there and we've got some kind of pride. We would show some pride for once. But I've always said this and always will say it. And I said it at the beginning, guys. You can whinge and moan all you like as a Liverpool fan. You can say United went there to park the bus. You can say whatever you like. It's an absolute irrelevance. You can have 250 shots in that game if you like. It's an irrelevance if you don't hit the back of the net.
100%.
And that's how I look at it. And so, this Van Dijk interview, whichever way you took it, I just laughed at it really because I just thought that was just pathetic. The way that Klopp came out and said, "Oh Jesus, it's always Manchester United," that type of thing, And people were saying, what was more dominant, the 7-0 or the 0-0? Again, I don't really care. I'm not really sure. And I know one thing, for the first time in a long time, those lads would have got on that coach. They would have been tired. They'd have been exhausted mentally. And they would have, probably shook each other's hands, give each other a hug, because that was a mighty, mighty fine performance from us. And I'll stand by this now. If Garnacho had used his brain a little bit and he cut across Alexander Arnold by even an inch, we'd have had a penalty.
He could have scored.
Or a goal.
Yeah.
I don't quite know how to articulate the Hojlund effort because I was massively disappointed that he didn't kind of loop that.
Well, barring that he was cold all game, Stewie, nobody served him the entree. Again, he got cold. He got cold pass and one opportunity, one shot, and he's been running around without any service. So yeah, he could have gone either way. But got to big up to Trent Alexander-Arnold, which people are saying he can't defend because he defended that ball really well against Garnacho.
The way that the way that Hojlund took it wonderfully well. He got himself some space. I just thought if he could just lean to the right, use his left, just lean over just a little bit. But it's easy for me to say up there at home or in the stands. When you're down there and the game's running and running and running, and you've got Alisson, he's a big man. So, do you know what? I put it down to an effort of pride, a bunch 100%. Of guys that absolutely, that was pride for them. And pride gets you a long way. So I've got to doff my cap to the guys. I have to. Whatever's happened previously in the season, you have to doff your cap to those group of footballers, irrespective of whether we like McTominay, whether we like Luke Shaw, it just doesn't matter. They represented Manchester United to the best of their ability for the first time in a long, long time. So I doff my cap to them. I was delighted, I have to say.
I see here. Yeah. Continue, Mick.
I will just quote and to say, I'm quite spiritual, and I believe that there is higher beings above, and there's called footballing gods. I don't want to jinx it. That's why I'm not doing predictions anymore. But when it comes to the push comes to shove, when it's getting too cocky, too much, when everyone is kind of treating us like we have no chance, this is where footballing gods comes into play, right? This is what I always said before pre-matches, say, look, the ball is around, anything can happen. If you have, believe and fight, if you face paint yourself like Braveheart, you can fight for your pride. All I wanted to see is the boys coming in and make the manager proud, make the club proud, don't concede, play as a team, show some fight. Because this is the derby, people. I grew up with this Liverpool. derby, like, ever since I was a child. And I always say this is two fixtures that I'm looking forward to when the Premier League comes out. And there's the Anfield away, and there's the return back in Old Trafford. And if you know history, this means a lot. This is the big one, right?
Yeah.
For us to capitulate with the 7-up, that was an embarrassing moment for me as a fan and for everyone. It scarred people for life. So did I have expectations we can do it? 100%. Form goes out the window when this comes to this. And I think that Liverpool players, they can drink the salted tears because I think they got petulant. I thought they were underestimating us, thinking this is going to be a walk in the park.
Absolutely.
Everyone did. But this is where the wounded animal comes to strike and bites you, 100%. So from a effort, what I saw in this game was 11 players fighting for each other, compact shape, defensive. Okay, we didn't attack well, but we started to get into the game around the 80th minute, right?
Yeah.
Approximately 75, 80.
Yeah.
If they're talking about clear-cut chances, they didn't have any clear-cut chances. The only chances they had was on set pieces and corners. So what does that tell you? We defended really, really well. Ten Hag came with the game plan. Ten Hag plan worked. He was reactionary. When Klopp did his changes, he reacted, right? In the second half, we changed the pressing system for a more 4-3-3-3 pressing. That worked, right? The substitution worked. The only thing that we didn't do was to nick the goal, and we were probably the ones at the end of the day to nick the goal and win with 1-0. But to come off with a 0-0, when it says silent the haters, silent the press, silent everyone, where do we build from here? The only way forward is to build from that compact defense to transition over to attack. And Villa is not impossible because we're playing Villa at home.
We are.
To go to Anfield, guys, there's 4 stadiums. This is the hardest stadiums to go to. And Anfield is the number 1, according to my opinion, right? And barring that they haven't lost there since September. They lost 1 game, I think.
Something like
and they
that.
didn't get a point. Big up. Pat on the back.
Yeah. Stu, have you ever been to Anfield?
Oh, I could tell you some stories of Anfield.
Oh, please.
1988. A young 18-year-old, fresh-faced footballer gets on a train with his mates, 3 of us, and we travel to Liverpool, get off, have a few beers, go to the ground, scalp a ticket. Managed to get a ticket. It was £15, but we could only get in the Kop. And so there's 3 of us in the Kop. Brian Robson scores after 13 seconds.
And
And
wait a minute. Yeah. It's just going. I just want to see if I can find some romantic music in the background, some violins playing. Going back in the 80s. Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Yes, that's it.
That's it. Get into the mood. Bring out the red wine, Chardonnay, whatever you're drinking, guys, and listen to
Turn down the lights.
88 stories. Turn down the lights.
So we scalped these tickets and we've gone into the Kop and we stood there as the 3 of us. And we played in white that day as well. And Robson leads the team out and he scores after 13 seconds in the away end. And I was just about to, and then I realised where I was. I got caught up in the moment and the elation. And as the game progressed, we went 3-1 down. I think Gillespie scored and I can't remember the other 2 scorers. Norman Whiteside comes on and he absolutely clattered Steve McMahon. It was brilliant and come off the bench. We end up drawing the game 3 apiece. And the final goal was a Gordon Strachan goal at the Kop end. And he strolls to the Kop after he scores and he goes like that. And I just remember being lifted up because every Scouser you can imagine wanted to get hold of little Gordon and strangle him. They were going absolutely wild. And I've been to Anfield many, many times, and that's one of my favourite ever moments of being there. I've got another one, very, very quick one.
But the game ended 3-3, didn't it? If I remember right.
The game ended 3-3.
Another one.
I've just got one very quick one. I did everything in the way.
Here we go again.
But this one's not an 80s one. I was dating a girl
Come on,
And,
dating stories. Okay.
yes, it was only a very short one. This.
Everything goes back to dating memories, girls and football, or what's going on here, Stu?
It's kind of, well, most men, as we'll all agree, it's football, women, beer, pizza. You know, those are the four
In that order.
staples.
Nominating factor.
Women.
But I was dating this girl, and I didn't realise at the time, fellas, before you'll shoot me, she was a Liverpool fan. But she got two. But she got 2 tickets one day. She surprised me. It was a cup match, midweek cup match. So it must have been a Carabao, Carlsberg, whatever the cup was. She says, "Look, I know you're a United fan. We'll go." And I've got tickets for the neutral end, so it'll be okay. So I said, "Fair enough. I'll drive." She said, "Oh, no need. We'll go up by coach."
Oh yeah.
We said, "Oh, coach. What? What kind of coach?" She said, "Just a coach you get on." What coach? She says the Liverpool Telford Supporters Club coach. So
you didn't understand the accent there.
So the only Manchester United fan to travel up to Anfield in a Liverpool Supporters Club coach.
Okay. Now we're sharing stories. I also dated a Liverpool girl. That's dark days of my life. Yeah. And I did not understand one single word what she was saying. The accent was so thick,
Yes. Oh
God, yeah. And like I was a uni student. I took her out, like poor uni student. What you do, like you're living on scraps, like going washing dishes to make ends meet. Yeah. And then you try to take out this beautiful girl. I think it was Maggie or something like that. I can't really remember. And I was just looking around, so I'm not in the sin bin. But anyway, I took her out, and it's like, I did not understand one single word what she was saying, and said, "I'm going to take her to the movies. At least there's no talking."
No, that's right. Yeah.
So there was no talking, right? But United fan, Liverpool fan, and then I was kind of like, okay. Movie ended. I was kind of walking her home as a gentleman, as you do, like youngster. You walk her home. You take her home. You walk her home, and all she was just like there, and I just kept saying like, because I did not understand. And then we ended up to her gate. Okay, this is the funny part. Like, and she stopped and looked at me, and I was like, "Oh, here comes the embarrassing moment. Am I going to get a hug, a kiss, or whatever? Is it going to be the cold hand, or I'm not going to go and see you again?" And she goes like, "Mick, you've a coffee." She goes, "You've a coffee," and I was like, "What? You've a coffee?" And I was like, "Excuse me, do I fuck coffee?" "No, are you for coffee?" She invited me home for coffee.
Fantastic.
Like, "Mick, you for coffee?" Like, do I fuck coffee? Bingo.
I've got one very other short story. I would be very quick with this, guys, but this is through work. A couple of years ago, just before COVID, I was working with Falcon Tires. I was doing some bits and pieces for them. And anyway, they said to me, "Look, one day, do you like football?" I said, "Yeah, I love football." "Do you play?" "Yeah, I absolutely love it." "Great. We'll take you to a training day at Liverpool at their training centre at Melwood." Oh, fuck. I said, "Seriously?" "Yeah." I said, "All right, then I'll go." I didn't, mention it. Anyway, a couple of days before, maybe a week before, I got an email saying, "Could you just let me know what size shirt you are?" So I said, "Yeah, no problem. Large." Ticked it off and away, the email as you do, and I carried on. Anyway, gets to Melwood. It gets put out. And they go, ticks you in, ticks you out. And they says, "Right, what we'll do is we'll take you through to the changing room. You can change with the first team. The first team were away somewhere. You can change in the first team. Dressing room." Anyway, I walked in. You'll never fucking believe this. Right. I walked in. There's my favourite number, 8, with a Liverpool shirt with my name on the back.
Oh, no.
My name on the back, right? And they said to us, they said, "Get changed. We'll go into the dome, AstroTurf Dome part. We can play football." And John Aldridge was there and a couple of pros.
But guys, sorry, were you finished with the story? Or
just one quick one. I've just got a little bit left. So they're all getting changed in their shirts and all this. And I don't fuck that. I just stuck it in my bag. Liverpool shirt, right? So put on my Wellington Amateurs top, as you do, with my name on it, and I went out. So there's this picture with everybody in a Liverpool. The coaches were saying to me, "Where's your shirt?" I said, "I'm not putting that shit on." "Why not?" I said, "I'm a Man United fan." I said, "You ain't got a fucking hope, mate. I've been looking for a duster. for ages. So that's what I do. So there's all this picture with the lads in their new Liverpool shirts, and there's me stuck in Liverpool
Jesus
shirt on.
Christ.
So there you go,
Dude.
Scouts. That's how you fucking do it.
Lads, you know what? Even you can date or go out with a Liverpool girl.
you
at the end of the
can't.
day, you can just break it out, go wherever you want. But imagine my family, my big brother, bloody Scouser supporter. How do you break up with your brother? You can't divorce him. No, that's even worse.
That's terrible.
And even people from Newcastle, Geordies, right? We speak accents. Like, whenever I heard, Geordie, they kind of reminds me when Mark is speaking a little bit of the Jamaican, a little bit of the Caribbean accent. Like, it's like, how weird is that? How come the Geordie sounds a little bit like, the Caribbean accent?
Geordie Shore.
Geordie Shore.
Yeah.
That was Finnish. No,
Finnish.
Geordie's like, why, hey, man.
Yay.
Why, hey, man. Something like that. Don't ever say you're from Sunderland when you're in Newcastle, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Just
anyway, where is the
do we want to go back to the game, or are we sharing stories?
I like kind of sharing.
I just want to bring up one comment here from who was it? Stephanie. She said something about the coffee and Mick. It was so funny. You have to read it out.
That's why I read. That's why I drink coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah,
coffee.
yeah.
Oh God! Listen, talking about stereotypes. Like now, when I started playing golf, I was living in West Australia, right? I played golf on the links course. You know how you talk about stereotypes of old Scottish men with kilts, right? I met this guy. He was a member of the club. His name was Ian Bailey. I remember clear as daisy, right? He came with a fucking Scottish beret and kilt and played with no underwear. And the wind was howling. It was a links course. And he was like, it was a funny bloke to play with. And he had this Scottish accent. Oh, great shot, young lad. You be on for two. Just a chip in the put. And he always carried on just jelly beans in his bag. It's good for energy. Do you want some jelly beans? I never forget this lad. Like, always came with the kilt parade and play with no undies. Crazy. Crazy.
That's the Scots for you, that is. Bless him. Yeah. God love him.
Perfect.
And then afterwards, like, you go to the pub, and back in Australia, like, you can have a pint, but they have something called a pony, like a schooner. You know what pony or schooner is?
A schooner.
It's a short, quick one. It's like a shot glass, a beer, like a quick one.
Yeah,
one for the ride.
In the UK.
Everyone is watching from Australia. They don't understand what a pony is. 100%. Or a shandy.
Walumba Fury, big up.
Hey,
good to have you on.
Yes.
Okay, I see. We
finally,
have
the fine wine guests are coming.
Finally, we can go on with the show, or maybe he has some stories to share.
No. The fine horses always come late for some reason, and they always come colorful and they come with good advices. Big up, Jimmy. How you doing, my friend?
Big up. Just checking. Wait, just checking my audio first. Checking my audio. Audio better today. Can you guys hear me? Hear me all right?
No, it's a little bit too much bass. I can't hear
No, you sound like Simon Stone in an interview. Tell me, why is this?
Is it not very clear? You can't hear me very clearly.
That's better.
Is that better?
It's a little bit like this.
It's like you're in a tube.
Let me adjust my audio a little bit. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with the television people. There's only Uncle Jimmy's sound, like the Twilight Zone.
Yes.
Yeah. Guys, have you ever thought about that? This is like, off the topic now. Whenever you watch the press conference, this Simon Stone reporter, right?
Yeah.
What does it, every time he asks a question, is it me, or does it sound like he's sitting on a dunny trying to squeeze one at the same time asking a question?
Yes, he's got.
What about this? And I was like, sorry.
Yeah, he's got septum issues. I think he's got. It sounds like he's got a blocked head, doesn't it? Or sort of like you say, he's straining. He's a very strange guy. Talking of which, by the way, Craig said in the chat that he sat on a flight or sat next to Jan Molby.
Jan Molby.
This comment.
What a player he was. What a player, Jan Molby. But his accent was bizarre, wasn't he? Because he was a mixture of Danish and Scouse. That would have been hilarious. I bet he didn't
Jan
understand.
Molby, as a player, I gotta say, he never ran. He
No.
just walked inside the circle, midfield circle, for 90 minutes. But he was
Oh,
fantastic.
tremendous.
Every time he was on the ball, everything was simple. He was a great player, but for Denmark, never for Liverpool. But yeah.
We have somebody
Of
from
course.
Twitter X that's just joined us. Joa gick med. Must
Hey.
be in from Scandinavia, Joa. Maybe Sweden, Norway. I don't know. I can read gick med. Just it.
Gick med. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, speaking of Norway, I need to ask you, right? We were doing the morning show today, off the topic. Now we're going to get back to topic. 100%. We've been derailed a little bit, okay? Sharing stories. But I read something, a tweet regarding Aaron, what was it? Hansen Oren.
Yeah.
That City is after him.
You know him,
He's
Stu,
considering-
the youngsters who came on in the FA Youth final, the Norwegian with blonde hair. He played
Yes.
winger in the
Yes. Yeah. A City after him, are they?
Yeah, that was a tweet.
They'll do a deal then, they will.
Well, they're after. I mean, it says that we have a good academy because they've been chasing Kobe Mainoo for 3 times already. They are looking after our academy players, and we have a gem of academy players coming up. So hold on to those academy talents. 100%.
We need to. We've had 2 off them, haven't we? We had the Fletcher twins.
Oh no, not the Fletcher twins.
Yes,
Okay.
Fletcher twins off them, but yeah.
But I want to say, when Isaac Hansen, he's they call him the young Luka Modric in playing style, and he's
He's from
very
Tromsø.
composed on the ball, and he's very technical. He has a low center of gravity, and he can spin with the ball and with the chip over his shoulder and just turn with it. And yeah, he's very good. And I've been following that guy since I was reading about him in the paper since he was like 12 years old. He was like massive talent, and Liverpool wanted him, Man United wanted him, so a lot of clubs wanted him. So he's a big talent, and if you sell him to City, I think it's a wrong move for us going forward.
Yeah,
we should
absolutely.
keep gems like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, guys, we're a little bit off topic, and we have people coming in. I see producer Mark just came in here. We have Uncle Jimmy's fixing his sound. So we spoke a little bit about the salty tears of Liverpool. We spoke a little bit about the results. Have we spoken about the media response at the moment, right? Because I kept watching Craig Worby on ESPN. They are the most Scouser fans, lovers on the ESPN Sports. They actually said good things about United's performance yesterday, which was like, wow, finally, right?
Yeah, it is time that the media stood up and realised that Manchester United aren't all about clickbait, and that we do play football on occasions. And yesterday was one of those that we played football. I think media response in the UK has been quite 50-50, really. You've had some of your Simon Jordans of this world who, your Abby Bonlohors, who kind of need the clickbait to make them feel relevant. Saying that Manchester United were poor, this, that, and the other, and it's people take no notice of those. And yet you've got people who know what they're talking about, like Henry Winter, and said, although it might not have been pleasing on the eye, football isn't always about that. Football is a results-driven business, and what we did was go to Anfield, upset them, and come away with a result. And we could have won the game because, as you point out, Mick, there was no real anything that I considered to be clear cut that Liverpool carved us open. It was mainly free kicks and set pieces.
But rightfully, that was the big impact to the media, what we guys did yesterday. Big into Liverpool fans, big into Klopp, big into the disrespect from Van Dijk. Everyone was on United's back yesterday. The defending of Roy Keane, ranting about, like, who are you, disrespectful? You only won one trophy in 30 years, and you had no crowd because it was the pandemic cup kind of thing. No crowd in the stadium. So big up, seriously. But where do we go from here? I think we can only bin from that, guys. We certainly can. And for me, it's about time, right? It's about time because players played for the manager played for the bag, and that was brilliant. 37 likes, people. Jimmy, I took your advice. I enjoyed football. I watched it through your eyes as well. I told you guys we will get a result. I don't want to say I told you so, but Mark also
Yeah.
said he told you so.
Yeah, no, Kobe now, he's the first one in our family to become famous. So,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, it's your child, yeah.
he's the first one in our family to become famous. So we're obviously very proud of him. So we want to make sure that the club treat him right. So we're talking to the agents now, just make sure we can get a good deal for him. But now, do you know what? On a serious note, you said it, Mick. For me, I've told you, I'm not going to allow this club to stress me the way that it normally stresses me. I'm not going to allow it to affect every weekend of my life. I'm not going to allow it to dictate how I wake up in the morning after a match. No, I'm not accepting it anymore. So now for me, it's I watch the football, I analyze it. If we play well, of course, I'm happy. If we don't play well, then I'll just take joy in analyzing what I think they didn't do right, what I think they should have done or should not have done. That's how I've been watching football. And do you know what? I've enjoyed football like that. I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed just watching my team again,
Funny that you mentioned that, because that's what I do too. Like, I always analyze positive elements through the game, right? I can see that we didn't play that well, but I'm always trying to find the positive elements, right? Some good passage of play and what we can build from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's simple things. I mean, you should be able to watch a match and take the positives from it. Even, I mean, I made a video where I was talking about obviously Kobe Mainoo, because I can't get enough of this kid. He's been such a different type of player at the club, really. And I'm not saying this again, I'm not overhyping him, but he's a different breed of player that we don't normally see at the club. We see players come in, your Lingards and your Rashfords, they come in, they do bits here, they do bits there, but there's something about this kid that you just see that he's got it in him. If nothing drastic happens, I think he's he's going to be a top talent. But the point I'm making is, we're watching a game and we're seeing these moments that we don't normally see our team play football in that way, especially when we play these big rivals. We've been shocking it against big rivals. People, sometimes when you analyze the way that we've played against rivals, we've been so timid, really really scared. At times, I mean, when we played Chelsea, that was the first time where I thought, I couldn't believe it. It was like it wasn't like the Man United I was expecting to see at all, because the 4 games before that we looked scared. We just look afraid of everything that comes before us. So to watch a team that was a bit put together, a bit chopped and changed, it wasn't really a planned team at all. This has been forced to make these changes and play this team, and to watch them go out there and just make the manager proud. He was very proud, very clearly on his face. He was very proud of that performance, and you can see it. You could see it on his face. So I'm proud of the lads. I hope they can take a lot from this game and just
but this is just what I was saying. It's a big end to the media to say, look, you're trying to get me sacked. Here's my response. Here's the lads' response.
Yeah.
And we have new people that I haven't seen before. We have Privyet Bratan, Kagzila Dobrovecher, Nariman Izenov. I can't try to read. That is Chirilica or something like that. But anyway, I'm Serbian, so I can understand. Privyet. How you doing? Good response. And I think that, we got to build from here now. Like, as the title is, like, I keep saying that the biggest weapon in any football is defense. If you have a solid defense, you win titles, But now Ten Hag is kind of identified, and people were saying, why didn't you do this before? Why didn't you do that before? Why didn't you play a double pivot? Because he didn't have the personnel, basically, to do it, right? So from now on, what we can see what's working is basically a double pivot. Sometimes you can play it, sometimes you don't play it. At home, you don't have to play the double pivot. But we did a show in the post-match, and I said, well, listen, what is the best midfielder then? Like, what is the best midfield? Casemiro is coming back. Will he play with the Kobe Mainoo? Kobe has to play, right?
He has to play, but at the moment he has to play. He has to play.
But this is the good headache,
maybe
right?
Rest him in the big game.
But Jarvis, this is the good headache
he has to play.
Jarvis, this is a good headache on midfield selection. All of a sudden, we're hearing that Christian Eriksen's coming back. That means that when all these fit players are coming back, Scott McTominay, will he be going back to the bench? Will he be sold?
Yeah,
in
you know
January?
what? Yeah, Mick. Today we saw pictures of Eriksen coming back to training. I like to share some pictures because I gotta say, when it comes to Eriksen, I like Eriksen. He's a very technical player. He's one of a kind in our squad. We don't have players like him who's that good technically on the ball. And you see him here in training, jogging around, and he looks fit. He looks sharp. Yeah, as you can see, he's smiling. He's good on the ball always when it comes to password. There's Rashford, but so you see he plays with the ball, and I would actually like to see Christian Eriksen play with Kobe Mainoo. I think that will be
That's interesting. That's
a
very
good
interesting.
constellation.
Yeah.
But
That's interesting.
I would prefer to have Eriksen in the 10, just to be clear.
Eriksen in the 10.
Yeah.
So that was my point, Jarvis. And my point was going to be Kobe Mainoo is what you call an effortless footballer. You don't see those often at all. So nothing phases a kid, but everything you do is just a sweeping, wonderful movement, singular moment, rather than a tap, 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 Flintstones type of getting the car going. He's effortless. Everything he does. Yeah, that's it. Yabba dabba do. That's it. He's effortless in what he does.
Fred is gone already, right?
When you've got an effortless player like that, it's great to have somebody like Amrabat, which will play the Flintstones role, and he will run around and run around and run around. And Jarvis is absolutely 100% right, and this is Bruno's dilemma, I'm afraid, Mr. Fernandez. And you've got to ask yourself two questions: would we have played the same type of game with Bruno in the team at Anfield on Sunday? The answer to that is no. Wilma, that's it. Yeah, we wouldn't. We wouldn't have played the same game because we would have had to. When Bruno plays, he almost dictates the way that we have to play with him.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't get that. If you put Eriksen in there, you've got a different type of dynamic, a huge different type of, whether it's Casemiro or Amrabat. But the Mainoo Eriksen dynamic would be fascinating.
Yeah, that's why I said interesting. Yeah, I think that's really I'd never even see this when I say I don't know football at all, because I've never even considered that. I never even thought of it. It's not,
Jimmy, you know football, and so we all do on this channel. Sometimes it's eyes. People talk about I'm not talking about the eye test. Forget the eye test. The eye test doesn't even do it for me anyway. I'm not interested. It's all about football's about a few things, obviously, but it's personality, structure.
It is.
Those are the real keys to what you try and find when you're finding a partnership. I talk about it all the time, John Jarvis, when you're looking at centre half partnerships. It's personality and structure. It doesn't matter if you've got Rio Ferdinand and Yapstam or Nemanja Vidic. It's got to be Vidic and Ferdinand. Why? And I could tell you why, because of the structure and the partnership they had together. Aggression and Rolls Royce type of players. So you've got somebody who can press, somebody strong. This was and this Vidic. Is where I love Vidic.
Varane Martinez is a bit like that, isn't it? Varane is a Rolls Royce and Martinez is the.
But even the defense yesterday, the Johnny Evans and Varane, first time they ever played together.
Yeah,
it was good.
I was about to say, what did we see yesterday? We saw Varane take the lead. Varane was a stronger player.
He was very much so. Yeah.
We've not seen that from Varane, and this is why. This is
he
why
was up
Bruno,
for a fight yesterday. He was very much up for a fight.
Dude, he got the man of the match, and he dedicated the whole. Yeah, he dedicated the whole team.
Defense.
He dictated the way that we were going to play. Tremendous. And this is where, if you're Bruno Fernandes this morning, you're like thinking, here's a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call to me. He's disappeared now, yeah. This is a wake-up call.
Yeah, exactly. You did like this, and Jimmy's camera disappeared.
Clip that. If that did happen, clip it, because it would be really good. There's that wake-up call, I think, for Bruno. Now, there's a load of Bruno fans, and I get that.
What are you clipping? What have I done?
He did like this. Jimmy, he did just like this, and then your camera just went off.
Yeah,
And then we
yeah.
did like this, and you came back.
Whoa, the magician over here. Hey,
Yeah. I'll be
Stop
interested in
rubbing
the
this
Bruno conundrum.
Aladdin's lamp, okay?
And I'll be interested in the Bruno conundrum because I think now moving forward, he has one. Ten Hag, personally. That's my own opinion.
Yeah, but Uncle Jimmy, how do you see Bruno coming forward? How will he do in the next game? Will he think that he's a regular starter, or do we feel the pressure now? Or and do we have to change his game because we saw a different United without him, and we also saw a different United against Crystal Palace. To be fair, so 2 out of 3 good games he have played this season is without Bruno.
The problem is I've not seen this situation for Bruno, so I can't call it. I don't know. You know, I haven't seen Bruno hasn't been in this situation at Manchester United, has he? Where there's a potential that he has to actually fight for his place. We know he's a hard-working player anyway, so fighting is not a problem for Bruno. But we haven't seen this situation where he actually has to fight for his place because there's another way of playing that possibly could be completely different to how he plays.
Bro, can I say something there as well? Like, you know, we haven't seen this unprecedented situation where we have to chop and change personnel as well. The best we seen Bruno when he was playing with Casemiro and Eriksen last season.
Yeah.
Then you got the best because you had Casemiro sitting deep, being the sweeper, being the registrar. Eriksen being the, you know, technical little wizard that he is, and Bruno being roaming free. So we haven't seen that this season. We hadn't had the opportunities. Like, he's got to play with Scott McTominay and potentially like Amrabat's been coming and playing left back in the beginning. So we haven't seen the best midfielders of yet. So that's what I'm saying. Okay, if you're going to play Casemiro, Mainoo, Casemiro, Amrabat, and then Bruno on top, you will see something. Or chop and change with a little bit of Eriksen. Depends on who we're playing.
You know what? This is a thing I wonder with Ten Hag. Why not do both? You know, why not try both ways?
Why not have the cake and eat it?
Switch it up. Play one way for 25 minutes. Try and play a slightly different way for the next. Look, if this is man management for me, and this is where, you know, if you look at the really vocal managers, you know, your Sir Alex Ferguson's and managers like this, who the detail of the spirit of the team was so precise that he'd tell the dressing room to say, look, today we're going to try something completely different. So if I take you off 35 minutes, don't be offended. I'm taking you off because we're going to try something else at 35 minutes. And this is where you get your players to understand that, look, we're in a situation where we have to try everything we can try to win games. So if get your players on side so they're not surprised when you say to them 30 minutes into the game, come off. Right? They're not offended by that. So
the positive thing is what
Ten Hag has to keep managing this dressing room. He's going to have to keep going.
That's it. Like, and I agree what Naj is saying here. Like, you know, now we're having one game a week, and it should be more positive, more time to practice, more time to embed this style.
Build the team as well. Build the spirit as well.
It's interesting that, Jimmy, because I 100% agree with you. And this is my reasoning. Saturday, Sunday, I can't remember when we play, Saturday or Sunday. Okay. The difference is that West Ham have got a very tricky midfield. They're not a particularly powerful midfield, but damn, they can play football. You know, so we've got a situation now where things on our mind will be no free kicks from 25 yards out because he's going to punish you. Punish you. So you've got to do that. So you've got to look at the personnel. Who's going to give away a needless foul? We don't have that now with Dalot. So that takes Dalot out of the equation. Okay. But does he look at Amrabat and think, oh, Jesus, look at his fouls against Liverpool. They're a little bit, you know, and he might consider that.
Grabbing.
Yeah, exactly. He may consider that. He may consider.
But the thing is that both midfielders, Kobe and Amrabat, got two yellows each, right? Yellows.
Yeah, that's right.
But that showed you that they were fighting for that midfield. They were bossing it, right?
They were. And and to be fair, they were more middle. They were more middle of the park, I think, weren't they? Or slightly to the edge. But those are
other than the petulant red card, bloody.
Yeah. But when it comes to Amrabat, how do you see Amrabat going forward? For me, he looked a little bit heavy on his step. He looks out of shape in a way, and even his reading of the game is a little bit behind in some situations. You saw it on the yellow card. So for me, how do we play Amrabat going forward? Do we need more time to get back into shape, or should we just like keep trying and playing him into shape, or is this his level?
You're not going to see
No,
the
this
best
is not
Amrabat
his level
until next season, and his loan expires at the end of the season. So I don't know what we do with Amrabat.
We need bodies. We need rotation. So it's a good headache. You know,
Yeah, it's a great headache.
We have Amrabat, we have Kobe, we have Casemiro that can play in those roles.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me, when did we have a CDM that we hardly had one CDM, and that was Matic. You know, his legs was getting tired, and then we kept playing Scott McTominay at that role. They couldn't play that role. Anyway, I was impressed by Sanjay. Basically, I want to bring up and I want to answer is because he wrote to me in Serbian, and that's impressive. Like he's wondering if I'm like a Red Star Belgrade or Partizan, and that is a big question. I will tell you a secret: Partizan, the black and white, Belgrade. That's a rivalry. Like either you're red and white or black and white. So that's my dad played for Partizan, and that's why.
Oh, brilliant! No, but just going back to Amrabat, and Jarvis again, 100%. It's not about the eye test; it's about knowing the player, knowing his abilities. And you're absolutely right. I think he's a little bit overweight. He's definitely not fit. My recollection is, and correct me if I'm wrong here, fellas, he didn't play for something like 3 months when he was sitting around doing nothing and just training. And you can't do that at the highest level, and you can't do it coming into the Premier League. You can't do it. The single game a week, Mick, and I heard a podcast that you mentioned a couple of days ago when we got knocked out by Bayern. We shouldn't be out of Europe, but there are positives to being out of Europe. Forget the money. There are positives, and the positives are we can get Amrabat better. We can get Casemiro, Eriksen, Malacia, Ahmad. We can get all these players back. We can get Leacher time. We can give all these players time now to come back. We're in such a better position now come January than we were worried about, than we would have been, in my opinion, if we'd stayed in the Carabao Cup. Carabao Cup's tomorrow night, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. So we'd have been playing again tomorrow, Wednesday. Then we're back on Sunday. You know,
FA Cup only left.
I've said this. People have laughed at me, but I feel the same way. I feel the same. It's fine. It's absolutely fine.
This season is fine.
You know.
Anyway, there's no doubt about that Ten Hag last season overreached. We overreached from 1st of January until the end of the season. We were the team in the world who played the most games. We had the double extra round against Barcelona. We played the double semi-final in the League Cup, and we went to the final in the FA Cup, and all those games in the Europa League. So we can see it. Maybe this season is a result of last season, and Nuruddin has been talking about this in United Real Therapy all the time. He's talked about the fatigue of the players, that they're burned out, and he's not very happy about how Ten Hag approached this. He meant that we should just play the reserves in the less important games. So this is probably a result of.
But it comes down to the medical stuff that is apparently going to be overhauled totally. It's been a shambles there as well. Like there was an article last week as well. It's been absolutely horrendous. You know, the level of competence that it recruited in. We didn't even have a club doctor there,
But haven't we poached a senior medical person from a rival club?
The voodoo doctor
last week. Started working last week.
This is recent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Listen, guys, I appreciate the invite. Thank you for being part of your show, Jarvis. Thank you for the. No problem. You have the keys. But for me, it's good night. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and my eyes are going droopy. I just really come in here because I missed you guys. It's not very often we can do a show like this since I moved to Thailand. But I have a very good replacement sitting in the background as well, waiting to come in and replace. And he's the most positive guy for the past week. He's been consistent. He always said he believes in this team. He believes he can get a result. And he's a realist like me.
And he's a real Geordie.
He's a Geordie as well with his accent. Speaking of
What's up, guys? How you
Hey,
guys
Are you
doing?
sure you're not Geordie?
Not really.
He's a Trini.
Enjoying
Yeah.
the stream. Enjoying the stream. You guys are carrying it along really well. I'm just enjoying
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Mo Hamza, big up. It's been a minute, 100%. It's been a big minute. Big up to you as well. Listen, thank you so much for all the support, guys. Thank you for coming in. It's time for me to close my eyes a little bit, and should see you tomorrow. Just want to give you a heads up because I did a podcast interview today with Bilal Jogi. It's been released for the member section, but it's going live for the public. It is a cracker. It's going to be live it's a premiere. It's going to be at 11 p.m. And we're going to talk about the Glazers and why they're stalling and all that jazz, basically.
Did you air it today, members only?
Today, yes.
Yeah, so if you're a member, you will get special and pre-recorded stuff that doesn't come on the YouTube internet before 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days beforehand. So it's a good thing to be a member. So people subscribe.
Yeah, you get a what do you call it? A
Guys.
pre-screening with the chance to comment. So far, it's been about 250 that's been viewing it, the members. So thank you everyone that's becoming a member. Keep coming and support us today, road to 20k. And if I don't see you before Merry Christmas, of course you're gonna see me tomorrow. But anyway, guys, big up, guys.
Yep.
Good night.
See you, Mick.
I'm
Happy
out.
Good night,
Christmas.
mate. Good night, mate.
Bye,
Good
Mick.
night.
But to the rest of you guys, don't go. We still have a lot to run through. We have just passed the 60-minute mark, and we always play a full 90 on Jarvis's corner. So we still have a half an hour left. I have a good talking point I wanna share with you guys. This is a snippet I found from Sport Extra, and this is the next talking point, and you can just watch it without sound. You see here, Dalot gets the ball out and he's shouting to the referee. And then another time again. And then comes the 2 yellow cards and 2 red. This is filmed from the stand, by the way. That's by the poor quality. And let's see it again. Now here is the first reaction. And we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's again. So it's within 5 seconds the second yellow card. Micheal Oliver. So who want to go first? This is a talking point. The referee, Micheal Oliver.
I mean, I've been watching a lot of streams and a lot of different content creators today, and some of them are saying, it's a deserved red card. Some of them are saying, he was being dissent and the referee was right, but I'm saying
I can guess who they support.
Well, I mean, some of them are actually United fans as well, to be fair. So I'm not gonna, be like they're not. So it was just weird for me because, like, as a fan of football, I've been watching football for like about 30 years, where I could understand the game, to be fair. So like, I'm like thinking to myself, I've never seen something like this. I've never seen a player get booked for dissent and then the referee books him immediately again. There's always a situation where the referee would actually go up to the player and say, listen, I'm booking you.
I'm telling you.
And if anything happens again,
play with me.
You're going off the field. So you never warned the player. So, and it's weird because, I mean, there was moments in the game where the Liverpool players were full of dissent. A player kicked away the ball. He clapped off the assistant referee. He laughed at the referee. There was other players who kicked down players and they didn't even receive a yellow card. They just walked off and then they complained. They grabbed up the ball, which is also a yellow card, So for me, it was a away game where we were playing against, as usual, 12 players. Because for me, United always is held to a certain standard that other teams aren't held to. And people might argue that, but I'd always say it because, if you look at some of the refereeing calls that come against us in the Champions League, the Premier League, it's always to the letter. A tackle goes just off, it's a red card.
Red card,
Your finger touches the ball. If a guy heads the ball within 2 feet to your hand and it hits your hand, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
You see other teams, they don't even look at it in VAR. You score a goal, they check the VAR twice before they give you a goal. It doesn't happen for other teams. So for me, it's like, it's a tough one. I would think that maybe something needs to be done because the referees certainly are becoming more impactful to the game than they need to be. I'm a fan of obeying the rules and you know, always trying to respect those who are in charge, respect your elders, these kind of things. But you know, it's a game of passion, full contact sport, you know, so adrenaline is pumping. You can't really expect these guys not to be emotional. It would be like almost unnatural, you know what I mean, for you to expect them not to react, not to shout, not to scream, not to throw their hands in the air. Now they have to also restrain themselves. So they should have a time frame in which they could react and then calm down.
I think you have an element there, Mark, when it comes to talking about the human element about the football. We are humans and we have reactions, and in a way you could see it today. Yesterday, Dalot, he's reacting, and I think it was fair. You know, he overreacted. It should have been a yellow card in my book, but Michael Oliver gave him 2 yellow cards and a red. So in a way, I think no one understood. So. Yeah.
There's 2 issues, Jarvis, and Mark is right and you're right, and I'm pretty sure Jimmy would say the same thing as well. There's 2 losses of composure. There's the player and then there's the referee. Yeah. But the actual problem here is the referee should never lose his composure. That's the key element. That's what Mark's talking about, composure. You should always have that facade of a school kind of teacher, a headmaster, a professor. You know, you stand there, you take a deep breath, and as Mark quite rightly says, you carry on, pal, and here's the other yellow, and you're gone. Okay. We don't know exactly what was said. There's dissent and there's dissent in football. You can get sent off for anything and get classed as dissent, but there are some words that are just, you cannot use, and we know which words I'm talking about. You can tell a ref to F off. It's not a problem. He gets that 2, 3, 4 times a time, you know, a game from every player probably. But if you use a see you next Tuesday, for example, he'll have you straight away. Okay. Now we don't know what he was said. However, as a referee, with a minute to go of injury time and stoppage time, he should have sorted it out properly. He should have taken a deep breath, walked over, not even said a word to him, let him get his little temper tantrum out the way, and then turned around and said, Dalot, enough. Otherwise, you're off. And then that would have been it. Now, you've got the other issue of Mo Salah giving it the big one, giving it all of this. This is becoming more and more popular, isn't it? Card, whatever, you know, whatever the players are talking about. You've got the Anfield crowd baying for blood because Dalot, you know, went like that, you know, cried like a little baby. So Dalot has got to look at himself first and foremost. He has. Oliver's got to look at himself first and foremost. But the PGMOL, as Dalot says, and as Mark has said, and there's a lot of the guys have said in the chat, Jamie Wayne in particular, have got to look at this and review it. And they've got to bust him down. They've got to say, you cannot do that, mate. You're in a pressure cooker situation for a start. Yeah, at Anfield. It's Liverpool, it's Manchester United. Liverpool are baying for blood. The fans are baying for blood. The players are desperate to win the game. And Manchester United, we weren't desperate at that point because I thought we were on top at that point. Dalot showed something he hadn't showed in weeks. That determination to get back and chase down Mo Salah. And he wins the ball. And I get it, Mark's right. The elation, the euphoric emotion, and I've said this before, euphoria is the most dangerous emotion you'll ever experience as a human being because it sends you into a place of non-existence because you believe everything.
All logic goes out the window. Euphoria just goes out.
And with Dalot, it went out the window. I get that. I get that. I've got no issue with it. I get that. I do, and I can see it, and it's emotional. But he should have shut up. If I'm Ten Hag, seriously, guys, I'm fining him 2 weeks' wages and I'm bollocking him because he's got to learn. You can't allow that to, even though I'm talking about euphoria, you can't allow that to happen. If he'd done that with 10 minutes to go, we'd have been on the receiving end of a 1-0 loss.
Yeah.
There's no 2 ways about it. So Mark is 100% right. So are you, Jarvis, and I'm sure Jimmy would have said exactly the same. I've probably taken Jimmy's piece, really, to be fair. 'Cause I'm sure
there's nothing else I need to say.
Yeah,
There's
sorry.
nothing else I need to say.
Before you have to say, Jimmy, I just want to put things into perspective. So I just want to bring this back, and I will share this picture instead. This is a player shouting to the ref after the Spurs draw with the Manchester City, and the ref blew the whistle when City was through on goal. Here's another picture. You see, it's continuous. Hojlund is furious. And even on his way off the pitch after the game, he was shouting at the referee.
He was a nuisance.
And here you see it again. So for me, this is way too much. And Hojlund didn't even get a yellow card for this incident. No. So for me, I say, where is the consistency? What exactly are the rules, and why aren't the referees applying it all the time? Back to you, Jimmy.
The thing is, the disappointing thing for me is that the rest of the footballing world make out like we're complaining for no reason, and I hate that, because there's been some moments where it's been blatant. I mean, I've heard rival fans who absolutely hate Manchester United with all their hearts, and I know it, but they have said that decision was that was weird. That decision was strange. That decision, and I've heard this over and over and over and over again. You don't get it the other way around a lot. Even when Liverpool, when Klopp was going on his little rants, he's very, because he his rants are not accidental, by the way. They're very calculated. If you look at when he picks when to have these little rants, it's very, very measured. It's very calculated. It's just before a big game, before a big Champions League game, before a big cup game, before a big rival game. That's when he would do these rants, because he wants the refs to work in his favour. And it works a treat. It works an absolute treat for them. And that might be an accidental byproduct of his words. Maybe he doesn't intend it to come out that way, but that's what happens. It always ends up working in their favor a little bit better in that big game that's coming up. So if you watch when he does his rants, you notice it's always before a big game of some kind. But anyway, for me, it's there needs to be an acceptance when refereeing decisions are not fair. But also, why is it that refs don't have to answer for their crimes? Why do they not? Why is it that managers get persecuted in public, players get persecuted in public? Even coaching staff that are not even managers, they get annihilated in public. Anyone else in the football industry gets absolutely slaughtered, but the most important person in football, the referee, is not allowed to get slaughtered or criticised for when they very clearly have been incompetent. It's like, if I can say my player, Marcus Rashford, if I can say Rashford had his shit game, why can I not say that ref had his shit game? What's wrong with that? You find the FA will all of a sudden, they'll go up in arms. Oh no, you can't criticise referees. The managers cannot criticise referees. They shouldn't say, why can't they criticise referees? The media criticise managers every day. So why can't referees their job is somehow protected from everyone? Because why? It makes no sense to me. And I think that gives them this high and mighty right that they feel so self-righteous that they think they can just, it's my way or the highway, and guess what? Even if I fuck up, it doesn't matter, because no one's going to criticize me. I'm the almighty ref. So no, it's nonsense.
But Jimmy, I just want to say, when it comes to Micheal Oliver, for me, yesterday's games, and he's proven it a lot of times against Man United. For me, he's an arrogant prick. In the way he conduct the game sometimes, because the pictures that show you of Hojlund, that was Simon Hooper who was refereeing that game, and Simon Hooper, he understood that he made a huge mistake, so he took one. It's okay.
He did.
And then you can take it, but then you show you're humble. Okay, I did a mistake, I deserve this. But Micheal Oliver, arrogant as F. Made a mistake. He doesn't care.
We've had refs, haven't we? We've had refs, in the past that have done that. But I think it's worth pointing out to the VAR room and anybody else who's watching this. If you're watching this for the first time tonight, what Uncle Jim has spoken about there is why you should watch this channel. You've got to ask the tough questions. You know, you can watch clickbait as much as you like. You can go and watch certain other channels, have a pop at Michael Oliver or whatever you like. But the question is, why aren't referees accountable? And that's why you should watch this show, because we don't mess around with sensationalism. We ask the right questions. And that to me has always been the question, is why aren't referees accountable? Look, I've been on the end of being sent off for dissent in the past, and it's not necessarily been dissent. It's because I've been chipping away at him, chipping away at him, not being arsey with him, not swearing at him, but you're this, you're that, you're not doing that right. Well, you open your eyes, blah, 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 and you get sent off.
Yeah.
We're about to see a seismic change in the Premier League, aren't we? Is it Boxing Day when this female referee takes control of a game? What are these players going to do? What are they going to do? Are they going to walk up to her and whatever? Are they?
Yeah, because they're all woke now, aren't they? So they they're gonna have to stand back. Otherwise it'd be harassment. So what
are they going to do now? I asked myself, as a PGMOL thrown a masterstroke in here, I don't know. Is she going to be able to cope with it? And please, guys, this is a question. I'm not saying anything. I'm just asking the question.
No, it's a very good question. I think if anyone thinks anything otherwise of that question, then that's just your problem, innit? Like, this is a very, very honest, this is a very genuine, honest question, and it's a question that should be asked.
And you've got to back it up, guys. Remember when Sian Massey made that mistake, or perceived mistake, in her first Premier League game as an assistant referee? She was castigated. Now we can't have that with this lady referee. We must support her. We must protect her. But we're all talking about abuse, aren't we? We're all talking about castigating a referee. What's going to happen when she takes that pitch? I mean, I don't know which game it is. How is everyone going to react in the stadium? But the question is apt, Jimmy, and why aren't they accountable? And I would like to know. I would love somebody to come on and tell us why you can't criticize a referee. I'd love it. Or why they can't come out and be interviewed.
Not only that, but it's like, when I look at the game, right, I look at that shoulder barge of Darwin Núñez onto Johnny Evans, I look at that as one of for me as a play reckless and dangerous, because no player expecting that kind of shoulder barge. It's not rugby, you know what I mean?
No,
so
it isn't.
And he got a yellow card. I was like, he didn't barely get talking to, and there was dissent. I just think in some games, I mean, although you have to deal with it as a player, you have to play to the whistle, and if the ref, sometimes the ref make decisions against you, it's just part of the game, But when these things happen in game after game after game, sometimes, it affects the form of players because they don't know how to play, because if the decision's always against you, you can't go full-blooded into tackles. You can't make that extra tug on the player that the other team are allowed to do seemingly. So, so when people complain about the performances of United, it's kind of hard in a way, because it's like, when you see some of these things, like think about the handball against Spurs in the third game of the season, right? When they clearly see Romero did this, and if Romero hand was not there, Vicario was already on the ground, so that ball was floating straight into the back of the net, right? No penalty, no red card for Romero, And look at the game against Arsenal at the Emirates. Garnacho's goal ruled out. They can't properly make a proper straight line that properly clearly said they're ruling out offside by a millimeter. Just consider those things, millimeters and inches. That's not sense.
It's not logical. It's not
logical. Like, for offside, it should be clear daylight between the player and the player. It can't be like the player stand. A player hand cannot be offside because you're not allowed to touch the ball with your hand. These are kind of crazy calls
I said that.
I don't understand. as a fan, and it's like you're watching this game, you're paying an expensive subscription monthly.
Yeah, the hand doesn't.
I just want to come back to
Ivo
Bosic comes with the final point, playing the devil's advocate. Ivo likes to see things from the different perspectives, so respect for that. Final point: the only thing you can control is how you react. Dalot reacted like we conceded a goal unfairly to lose the World Cup. That reaction for not getting a throw-in was just over the top. So yeah, I think you have a point there, Ivo. You guys want to chip in?
It's a good point. I mean, I think there is sometimes you do. Players obviously will have to take responsibilities for what happens, isn't it? Because it is your action that's caused the reaction. So even though the reaction is wrong, you started it, so it's your fault.
True.
Yeah.
So technically, you should take responsibility for it, but it still doesn't change the fact that the reaction was overreaction.
Yeah.
It was the punishment just did not fit the crime for me. Even though that there was no need for him to do what he did, but the punishment was not fitting at all. It was too much.
And to the next question from the VAR room, I will stay with you, Jimmy, since you live in the US. Referees are questioned in the NFL. National Football League. Coaches throw challenges. Why can't that happen to the Premier League?
Do
you think that will be something that we can have in the Premier League? Like just throw a challenge, make them see it again?
You'd never. Sorry, Jimmy. You'd never start a game, would you? You'd never finish a game.
You never finish a game.
You know how long a quarter is in the NFL? It's supposed 15. To be 14 minutes. You know how long a quarter does last? An hour.
Yeah.
One quarter is
how do these challenges
game
actually
is
work?
3 to 4 hours long.
I don't watch NFL. How do they actually work? Don't they have
it's 4 touches? It's 4 touches a possession. So basically, it looks like the first down is when they get to start the play. And they line up at the scrimmage, and they have a chance to progress the ball 10 yards, right? So the aim is to progress that ball 10 yards.
I know that, Mark.
But the challenge.
The challenge.
They have 2 challenges.
Do they chuck something in? Do they chuck something in?
Yeah, they have a little marker, and they throw it on the field. And once they throw it on the field, the coaches initiate a challenge. And so if the challenge is successful, then they may overturn the play, whatnot. If not, then there's finally the next challenge that you had for the half. So he's got 2 challenges a half, right? So, but in my opinion, it's take long because then they have to stop the game, review the play, take time to deliberate
like you
what
just
happened.
Said,
boom, and then they now have to announce it.
A 40-minute quarter lasts an hour or more sometimes. So that's what you'd get.
What was the longest VAR this weekend or last weekend? It was something like 4 minutes, wasn't it?
3 minutes, 30 seconds.
There you go. So almost 4 minutes, right? And then you challenge that on top. Okay, well, I'm not having that. I'm challenging it here.
15 minutes.
Yeah. No.
That's easily 15 minutes.
You can't have VAR and the challenges at the same time.
You can't.
The referee have to referee the game, and then the coaches can challenge, for example, 2 games.
My problem, John.
To be honest, I would prefer that to VAR.
To be fair,
just the challenge. So but it has to be. They have 2 challenges.
For example,
they have 2 challenges, but the challenge has to be precise because you're only challenging a precise decision. So, for example, an offside decision, that's a penalty. That's a major decision, or a penalty. That's a major decision. So you can challenge that. That's the only time that VAR is used. Apart from that, VAR is not used at all.
Yeah. For example,
I mean, I don't mind the automatic offside, to be fair, because in my honest opinion, the way there's draw lines, I just feel like is subjective according to how they angle the camera and they show you the picture. Because like I've seen in the Everton game, they had an angle of offside where they drew a line from overhead.
Yeah.
So if they could, that means they were able to do that from in advance, from before. That's not new. Yeah. So if they could draw that line overhead, I never want to see another offside from the side ever in history again. Other than that, give me automatic offside. Give me the chip in the ball for if it go outside the pitch. You know what I mean? It's signal to the referee watch that it cross the line of the field in the goal line. That same technology, and I good to go because it's too much of inches, too much of time, too much of reviews. Like last week, the week before, right before this game, Van Dijk got a red card, but the VAR review picked up a foul that happened right before on Endo. No red card for Van Dijk. You could imagine Van Dijk out of this game.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like that VAR thing kind of sketchy.
I don't. I understand where you're coming from, Mark, with AI, but it just doesn't do it for me. I don't like VAR anyway. Let me be clear. I don't agree with it. Football to me is sport should be about jeopardy. Anyway, two teams take the pitch. One team, you either draw or you come back a winner or a loser. That's how it should be. And anyone that interferes within that period, for me, I don't want AI. I know where we're going with AI, where we're going with this, where we're going with that, but I don't like it. I like the jeopardy of reality, and that's what really gets football fans off their seat, isn't it? People, I'm listening to pundits. Yesterday was a snooze fest, etc., etc. It's just another element of football. It's just another element of the game that you can watch the Brentford Villa game. That was a different type of element, wasn't it? It was a little bit angry, it was a little bit nasty and aggressive, and then what happens is Ollie Watkins comes on, or whatever, and he pops the ball away in the net. That's what you want. You need that little bit of skill that gets you off your seat, that somebody is so touch tight and he manages to just drop the elbow, turn him and put a swerver into the top corner, and everybody's going, fuck me, what a goal that was.
Yeah.
And then now what we're waiting for is VAR, or maybe AI. Mark,
can't celebrate anymore.
Or maybe chipping the ball.
I mean, I would like to take out a lot of the VAR actions. Like, for me, I think the VAR has reviewed too many things. Which is bringing a situation where it's wonder if they don't do it in this game, but they did it in, like, for me, the what VAR is reviewing in games for Liverpool and maybe Man City, they don't do for other teams. I feel like there's be a little extra, when it's like for United this season, every goal we score was checked 2 to 3 times by VAR. For me, that is unheard of, because I've watched games where goals scored look even more sketchy, and they even checked it. So it's one of those things where if they automate some things, fine. And for the real mishaps, like come on, like if I can't tell from the human eye that you in front of this player, then I shouldn't be looking to zoom in a camera to say you offside. That's madness.
Correct.
You know what I mean? If it looked like you in line, you're in line.
It's not even logical.
Can we go for a timeout on this VAR discussion, because it's very interesting, but I think we are going in circles now, and I just want to have a quick answer when it comes to the Dalot red card. Should Man United appeal it or not? Yes or no?
100% appeal.
100%. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Oh, the lads are right, but we won't win, and we'll lose him for an extra game. We never win appeals, do we?
No, we don't. We don't. So basically, we shouldn't appeal. We should just let it stand.
No, the guys are right.
We won the Rooney one. We won a Rooney appeal before, didn't we?
Yeah, we should appeal.
We won a Rooney appeal before.
That was 8. Yeah, I mean, sorry, I was about to say that was ages ago. Yeah,
I mean, Liverpool win how many appeals this season already? 4.
Yeah.
How many appeals? Liverpool players they appeal? Yeah, 4 of them. Van Dijk twice.
Shut up. Are you serious?
Van Dijk twice.
Yeah.
The guy in midfield who didn't play, McAllister once. I think it was Endo was the fourth player. That the fourth time that they got a red card to over. Arsenal had it 3 times this season. Arsenal get the Saliba had a red card overturned. Gabriel Magalhaes had a red card overturned, and Saka had a red card overturned. Against United.
Craig Warby agrees we should appeal. He said yes. Stephanie Griffin comes in. She said appeal 100%. Ivo Bosic come in and say you can't appeal a double yellow as far as I am aware. I'm not sure about that rule, but I think you can appeal.
A double yellow is only a single match ban. Yeah. We've got a straight red, so it's 3. So maybe you can't then appeal.
How the hell have they pulled off 4 successful appeals in the Premier League?
Bro.
Wow, that's amazing. Klopp's
Not
cupping some
amazing.
balls
I
at the
mean,
FA,
there
isn't
was
he?
on
He's
Good
cupping
Morning
some balls out
Britain.
there.
It was on Good Morning Britain when they lost the game by the red card, when the guy gets sent off, and
That's
you know, so
impressive, man. That is
Anyway, the
impressive.
biggest question is, everybody, how many Christmas jumpers are being worn in the VAR room? That's what I want to know. Happy Christmas to you all, guys. Happy Christmas. That's what I want to know.
Happy Christmas.
Sorry, I didn't put my Christmas
next week,
jumper
guys.
on.
Next week I'll wear mine, guys.
Next
week.
Uncle Jim is
It's too early.
Uncle Jim is
Still
almost
too early for me.
He's getting there.
Yeah, mine's almost Christmas. Yeah, it's very colourful. So,
no, but that sweater, Uncle Jim.
Well, yeah, now you know what? I've surprisingly had a lot of compliments of this fleece that it's a random.
I bought my lad I don't know, about his 19th pair of J's the other day because he wanted a pair of J's, as he calls them. I call them Jordan ones, whatever he calls them J's. He said, "Dad, just get me a pair of Jordans." Well. I said, "If I get you a pair of Jordans," I said, "I won't get the right pair." But anyway, I got him this pair of Jordans, and he said, "Wow, Dad, they're fire." And I looked at him and said, "What the hell does fire?" Looked at his mom and said, "What the fucking hell does fire mean?" And he goes, "Dad, they're great." I was like, "Oh, thanks." So I tried to use it. I tried to use it with him the other day, and he was having none of it. He just looked at me and said, "Oh, for God's sake, Dad, shut up. You clown."
Oh God, you got to learn the lingo. You got to learn the lingo.
I'm trying. Sorry, Jarvis. That was
The final topic, because we're running out of time. The final topic is, now we have played 3 games. We played against Bournemouth. We lost 3-0. We played against the Bayern Munich, we lost 1-0, and now 0-0. So we had 3 games in a row, and we haven't scored a goal, and we haven't created a lot of chances in these games. So what I'm asking now is, what is Ten Hag to do when they're going forward against the 2 next games? How are we going to score those goals? Because that's a big issue at United at the moment. So I want to do a round around the panel and have your thoughts on Ten Hag's issues with scoring goals and offensive play. Who want to go first?
I can. It's a very open question, isn't it? It's a very, very open question. I think, the challenge he's got, obviously, is that he hasn't got a natural goal scorer at the club at the moment. So that's the challenge he's got. Now, if you look at the teams that have been successful when they haven't been playing great, you can take our team, for example, the Van Persie season. We weren't playing great football, but we had Van Persie. Yeah. Without Van Persie, we wouldn't have won that title. We all know that. That's a very, very, plausible point, that if it wasn't for Van Persie, we would have probably finished 3rd or 4th in that season. So Van Persie came in and he saved the day completely, because we weren't gelling for some reason. I can't remember specifically why we weren't playing well. We had quite a lot of injuries, I think, and we weren't looking amazing, but we could just score goals. Van Persie and other players were scoring goals.
Rooney.
The point I'm making is, Ten Hag doesn't have the luxury of a natural goal scorer. So the only way that he's going to create chances and score goals is if he gets the team to play good football. That's the only way to do it. There's no other way we can do it. He's going to have to get the team to click enough to play good football so that they can win, they can score goals. It's the only way we can score goals. We can't play long balls because we haven't got a striker of that nature. So we can't really play long passes because there isn't that many long passes in the team. So we have to try and play close football. We can't play 4-4-2 exactly because there's no way we can play 2 strikers and then have enough attackers in the team. That's not going to happen. We really can't play 4-3-3 naturally because we just haven't got the midfielders for it. So the only way that he can do it is to play the way we played against Liverpool's fine, but he's going to have to get the team to play better football. That's it. There's no cheat code to it. He's going to have to get them to actually play football. That's the only way they'll score goals. And we won't score many goals, by the way, until Hojlund starts. If he because he's not far. People have been laughing at me when I've said this. He's not far And when it happens, you'll see it'll just.
Uncle Jimmy, you're spot on, mate.
He's off once he goes over this little whatever this little thing is. He's nearly there, but there's something there that's missing. But when he's over that little hump, I promise he's gone. He's you see, I'm not worried about him at all, not in the slightest.
No, mate.
So until Hojlund gets in that mode, or we somehow get a striker, because we've been linked to the tall kid from
Jesse or Geisy or something.
Geisy, however you pronounce his name. So I don't know.
Gerassi.
Yeah.
If we went for someone like him, maybe, you never know, he could come in and do a Van Persie on us. I can't see it. I think it's just another Veghorst. Because he can play in the number 10 from what I've heard. I've not watched him enough to know, but I've been told he can play in the 10 as well. So I don't know. So unless it's something like that, but otherwise there's no cheat code. He's going to have to get the team to play well. And I think Mainoo is a good addition to that, because he allows the rest of the midfielders to move up a bit further, a few yards. And I think that allows them to maybe create a bit more chances. So hopefully that will be a positive. Mainoo coming in, playing well. If he can play against next to Casemiro, I think, again, that improves how well we can create chances. Then maybe we'll score a lot more goals. But there ain't no cheat code to it, guys, I'm afraid. It's hard work. That's the only way that we're going to score goals.
Yeah. You have a very good points. Before we go to Stu, I just want to say we have 52 likes. People, take your time now.
Thank you very much, guys.
Take off your phone and push that thumbs up,
those like
and that will give us a like. And because we need it, that's our currency. That will help out the channel tremendously. We put a lot of work in this, so I will really appreciate it. So thank you guys for hitting that like button. Now back to Stu.
Uncle Jimmy's right, actually. Look, Hojlund will come good. I like his movement. I like what he's about. He's strong. He's quick. He's aggressive. He's just got to work on his finishing. I did say at the start of the season, Jarvis, if you remember, it needed to be Hojlund plus. We had to have another striker in, whoever that may be. But I think if we start attacking the diagonals better, which we don't, by the way, but if we start attacking the diagonals and you really push a forward back, and you've got him on the back foot and he's backpedaling, he's going to fall over. He's going to lose his bearings, and you're going to be able to get that run on him. And when you get that run on him, I promise you now, he's going to upend you. The year that Rashford and Micheal popped in 20 goals apiece, 22 goals apiece, we had a lot of penalties that season, and that was purely down to the fact they attacked the diagonal. So they got the ball. Instead of going round to the byline, they pushed him and made the defender do something. He cut in and make the defender do something. You go right or left on both sides. It doesn't matter where you are. And once you commit that defender, you're then committing another defender, because the centre half's got to look at it, make a decision. Do I mark Hojlund or whoever, or do I come across and try and cover? If you've got two defenders facing you up, the chances are you're going to win something in and around that box. And then after that, you've got a bit of a ricochet option. You've got a drag back option. You've got a short pass option. You've got everything. And the interesting thing about when you do hit the byline, then as an attacker, you need one in the 6-yard box. You need 2, 3 on the centre spot, on the penalty spot. So you've got something to play for. We don't do that. So ultimately what I'm saying is, and Uncle Jimmy, again, he's 100% right. Ultimately what I'm saying is, when we're in the kind of offense, and Anthony had 3 occasions to run at whatever his name is, left back. I can't remember his name now.
Shimikas.
He had 3 occasions to get round him. There's 2 things you need to do as a wide player. You rush the ball 10 yards, or you kick it and you fucking chase it as hard as you can, and you get your defender out the way. That's when you get across. You cut across. As soon as you cut across, he's got a decision to make. Everyone's got a decision. Okay, you've got a decision to decide what you do with it. The defenders have got a decision whether to pull you back, tackle you, drag you down, or try and keep up with you. Centre half's got a decision: does he come across? Okay, you run into this huge amount of space, and if you're smart and you're sensible, okay, you'll deal with it and we'll score. And that's how. I'm not saying that's the be all and end all, but I promise you, boys, that will give us.
Nani was the master of what you're saying.
Yeah,
you remember the way Nani used to play, that he was the master of that diagonal run, because Nani could go either way very, very comfortably. So for defenders, if you get an attacker that's mastered the art of not showing you where they're going to go, because they could go diagonal, they could go wide. You, as a defender, you're fucked, because
100%.
if they're quick, if they're quick enough, you are in trouble. It's very difficult to play against that kind of player.
Don't forget, boys, as well, if you are kind of here, if the defender's here, you only need to be a couple of yards off him to whip the ball around him. You don't need to be past him.
No, you don't. You don't. No.
So you've got this choice of getting the ball in. Now, once you whip that across, as soon as your ball hits it, that's where Hojlund's got to be on the move. He's got to be moving. As soon as that kick, that tap occurs, Hojlund's got to be there. Now, the Rashford goal, the Hojlund goal, sorry, in the Champions League, if you remember that, the power of the cross wheel thought it's too far. But as soon as he clicked it, bang, he was there. And that's that split second that you need. Van Nistelrooy was a master at it, absolute master of knowing. Van Persie was a master at it. Back in the day when I was growing up, Andy Gray was an absolute master at the diving header. His timing was right. And good strikers, they're watching the feet and they're watching the surroundings, they're watching the timing. And if we could do that,
I'm gonna name a name, because I don't demonize people. Human beings are human beings. Yeah. Mason Greenwood.
Oh, man.
His timing. Mason Greenwood's timing on who's around, who's doing what, when's the ball leaving his feet, where he thinks. If you remember, even in his stints, he scored a few diving headers. Do you remember? He scored a couple of diving headers. And this thing that you're talking about, where you understand your surroundings and you really watch. If you look at Mason Greenwood, before he makes a run, he swivels about 20 times before he makes that run. And that swivel is in real time. So he's taking the first image, second image, third image, so he can see the changes. It's like computing brains. These attackers are work like computers. It's like superhuman type of thing. Like Wayne Rooney obviously was like a master of that. He swivels 20 times before they make a run. It was beautiful.
He was. Van Nistelrooy was a 2-touch or a 3-touch. So what he'd do, he'd move 1, 2, 3 yards, and then he'd see what's around him, see who follows him, and he would make his space around that, or he'd stand still. Rude was a master at, believe it or not, just standing still in the penalty area. But to be fair, though, when you've got Beckham, flinging it across to you, then you're okay, aren't you? You've got that.
You're all right.
You're
happy with yourself.
Hojlund's not dealing with that type of delivery. He's not dealing with that. Liverpool's problems aren't their strikers at the moment. It's Robertson. They're missing the width that Robertson used to give them, to put the balls in. Salah to release these. And people forget all of this. People are saying that Liverpool don't know where the goal is. We don't know where the goal is because we don't create. So what happens with Anthony is, instead of attacking, he's coming back in on his left, and he's putting a ball into Amrabat, and we're trying to run and be a bit intricate.
No, but a lot of his balls are just going wide. They're going past the post. He's not good enough at crossing the ball. So if he, like you're saying, if he made the right decisions, I think he would be fine, because he wouldn't have to cross so far, because he has to try and get it that far because he's cut in on his left. That's his strong foot. He thinks that's the most accurate place that he can put it. So it always goes to the same place, goes wide, past the post, goes round.
And we don't cut in at the back. We don't have enough bodies.
No one comes in at the back. So never ever. So even when Rashford's playing, he doesn't make a run like that. He doesn't.
They should.
Well, I was just gonna say, guys, because I was just gonna say that maybe we're thinking about it in this perspective that Hojlund needs to get service, right? But I'm thinking about it in the perspective that Hojlund needs to find the players. They all need to find a synergetic spot, right? Like you said about that ball that Anthony puts around that drops either just after the first post in the middle of the box, or it drops to the far post at the end, right?
Yeah.
These are runs that Hojlund should be making right now, right? And I won't criticize him too much, because he's a young player and he's learning, and his uptake is very fast, because you see he wasn't good at the hold-up play initially, and his hold-up play has become better and better. He's looking to make more impacts into the game. I also think this is one of the reasons why he hasn't been making runs and scoring goals, because he's frustrated You know, he wants to get on the score sheet, right? You know, because if you look at the last few games, he's been getting some balls into him, at least 1 or 2 every game on his feet in that box from Anthony or
Where he should
Garnacho.
score. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that the relationships are forming. You know, I'm not saying he should score, because like if you get 2 or 3 chances, then you have in your head adjustments working, right? But when you get 1 chance, it's all on the money. It's hit or miss. Now you could say a Harry Kane might make that shot. I would tell you, if it's not a big game, of course he will. You know, some people might argue that.
No, Harry Kane scores that. He does.
Not in a big game. Not in a big game. Maybe in a regular game, but not a big game. He's never done it before, so I'm just going to say it.
You see, I said, Mark, on that particular chance you're talking about, I thought he did really well in the initial period, the initial phase of that particular play where he muscled around the player.
Yeah, because
Well, I thought
I'm just saying that he's going to adapt. He's adapting, right? The team is in a state of flux, is what I'm trying to say. So when we look at it, what Ten Hag should do, I think Ten Hag is already doing a lot. And I think right now is the period where the team is starting to form that connection with each other, you know, starting to form those relationships. They're starting to get comfortable with the system. They're starting to know their roles better. So I think it's more of keep doing the same, because it's working. And it's like, you know, when things work, sometimes they work well, sometimes they don't work well, but it's in that process of getting into that consistency period. So it's more or less just keep doing the same, because we've seen 3 games before, we scored 9 goals, right? So the last 3 games we haven't scored any, but the 3 games before we scored 9. So it's like that state of flux where 1 minute we're creating lots of chances and scoring goals, and next minute we're not. But I think for 1 second you could say the football is actually getting a bit better. And I agree. The team is performing a little bit better each time. So I think that's the focus.
Yeah, what I thought about that particular phase, Mark, was if he'd leant slightly to the right, he could have hooked his left foot around and we'd got it round ours. But look, it's easy for me to say that.
The same.
Yeah, but it's easy for us to say that, isn't it? Because we're not on the pitch. It's not real time. We haven't got Alisson coming down. And Neil's right. I'm not talking about we don't have the players to cross the football. I get that, and you know I've made that point as well. But Mark, I take exactly what you're saying. It's all about synergy, that synergetic moment, that moment of telepathy where one player is communicating to another without vocal cords, and the ball is there and the player's there to sweep it home. We are getting there, but we're not quite there. I think Hojlund, and I thought, I've got to be honest, Mark, I thought Harry Kane coming in and having Hojlund as well would be a great animal to learn from, you know, just in terms of learning about being able to adapt his overall game. We were never going to happen. It was never going to happen. So for me, we could go and spend 20 million, because I know he's only cheap, isn't he? Jesse,
Serge Guirassy is 15 million, but
he's 15 million.
I'd argue we should spend the 15 million on Marcus Leonardo, because I think Serge Guirassy, where Serge Guirassy is very good, he has been very good this season. Don't get me wrong. He started off the season screaming. He scored 5 goals in a game.
Exactly.
But it's only the season, right? And I watch a lot of German league because I live in Germany. So for me, last season he had some games he didn't really look at. Stuttgart wasn't doing as well. This season he's on his form, so I can't really knock a player who's on form. I'll always say a player on form.
No, I know.
Is a valuable player in a squad. But I think pound for pound, talent for talent, if we're looking for a pure goal scorer, I think Marcus Leonardo is that guy. Now, a lot of people might wonder who he is, and they might think, well, you know, he's another Brazilian guy. You know, he's not 6 feet tall. But I would like people to not, you know, maybe a lot of people has watched compilations, but I feel like compilations will do players justice when you're trying to learn what a player is. So if you could go and rewatch the game, the actual game, 1 or 2 of his games, and you will understand why I'm saying he might suit us better. Because I don't think he would be complaining for starting game time initially. I think he would come in and play second fiddle to Hojlund. And I think coming in and playing 20, 30 minutes a game initially for 10 games would be more than enough for him to show, well, listen, Hojlund will have to step up. And, you know, they might learn off each other. And young players players in the same age bracket, right? Especially when one have different
They
traits,
feed off each
they
other.
learn from each other.
They can,
You know,
they can
so
feed off
I
each
think
other.
a pure goal scorer, which is a different style forward, might be the best forward to link with Hojlund. And
And that's what
forward
was
around
happening
his
with
age group.
Rashford and Lingard. If you remember their best season together, they were feeding off each other a lot. Just energy, just like just almost bouncing off each other on the pitch.
I agree with what you're saying, Mark, and we need a someone that Hojlund, because at the moment for me I feel like Hojlund is everything is going a little bit too fast for him. It's too many games in a short amount of time. He doesn't have the time to think it through and learn. So if we have had the second striker, he could sit on the bench for a game or two and study the game, and then come in and try his new things and get back to the bench again and develop as a footballer. As at the moment he doesn't develop. I just want to show you guys this. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I should try to enhance it a little bit. Is it getting bigger? No. Well, what I see with Hojlund, he likes to drop down in these areas here and receive the ball, and he usually drags the center back with him. But what I miss, because we have McTominay up here beside him, and McTominay doesn't see the pockets that Hojlund leaves behind, because McTominay likes to come on deep runs, so he doesn't exploit the opportunity that Hojlund gives us. That's one thing that Ten Hag needs to improve, I believe, going forward. And another thing is Hojlund, as a striker, he doesn't always need to drop down to receive the ball. I would sometimes like him to push up and try to push them back, because if he do that, then he will create a space in between here.
But if Anthony makes that diagonal run, that's why this is why that diagonal run is important, because that would mean Hojlund doesn't have to come so deep to collect the ball.
I'm coming to that, Uncle Jimmy. That's my third point. But this is how little things I see tactically that we can improve. Because if Hojlund pushes up, he will leave space for Bruno, for example, to roam into and create play. And another thing is, as you talk, when you talk about the diagonal run, you talk about this run over here.
No.
This
where you are there,
on this side. So where
the 7 is there. Wherever it is, wherever the cursor, just the diagonal of the penalty area, at the corner of the penalty spot. That's your diagonal.
So here.
That's your diagonal. From
there. Mason Greenwood, bread and butter.
That's your diagonal.
The Salah run. But what I see when you see
that's
Pelestri,
the Salah
for
run.
example,
that is the Salah run.
This is the Salah run. But if you see, for example, Pelestri, he likes to take I call this for a diagonal run, because sometimes if Hojlund drops deep, we should move this also, not always the opposite move from the number 10. So there's different options. So we need to keep the defenders alert.
So Hojlund needs to operate, Jarvis, between the two centre halves, so the left back and the left centre half. He needs to operate in the middle of there and the middle of the right back and the right centre half. Okay, there's two reasons for that. So if you put Hojlund just behind 4, put that just behind 4, just onside, he's offside there. Stick it onside. Now put your cursor on the diagonal, right?
Yeah.
There's two areas.
So you want the run to come here?
On the 7, on the right side. That's him. Now there's two options for Hojlund. Hojlund can either double back and hit the back of the 6-yard box, or he can dash in between. Now, if you dash in between, you're going to catch the two centre halves off, providing we attack the diagonal properly and we get the ball in quickly. That's how a striker operates. So he lives basically between the two corners of the 6-yard box, and both of those runs allow him to operate. And he can do that, by the way, the opposite side if Rashford is attacking. And what that does, it allows, it gives you time, because if you're facing a defender, you can get him out of the way to get yourself in around him, or you're going to have problems. You're going to give the defender problems understanding the speed of where you are at the back of the back stick. So that's where he needs to operate. That's why we're not operating at the moment. So Neil's right. That's why you attack the diagonal. If you attack the diagonal, and if you push the full back in slightly to, I don't know, halfway between, keep going, into the penalty area.
Here.
Yeah, about there. Bring the wingers in. They can't attack the diagonal there. They've got to go around, and that again is where Hojlund is going to be sharper. So what's basically happening when our wingers do attack? If you push the left winger all the way to the byline, push the number 4 pretty much via where the goalkeeper is at the moment, and Hojlund you'll find push him to again just pretty. That's it. What he's got nowhere to, and that is our. By the way, whenever we attack the byline, that's what our Rashford has got to aim for. He's got nothing to aim for. So
you expect the ball to come like on the inside of them, so because it's hard to defend on your.
If I was Hojlund, I would dummy me run. I would go into the 6-yard box and I'd spin out quickly and then take the ball, because you've already done the damage to the two defenders.
Yeah.
Why does he always seem to get more attracted to the midfield rather than more attracted to the wingers?
He's searching for the ball. He's searching to have an influence in the game. Jarvis is right. He does.
It's because he wants a goal. He wants to get the goal monkey off his back. He doing too much. So basically what he needs to do is slow his game down and look for the runs, like what Stu's saying.
When he's got the Garnacho on this side and Anthony on this side, who kind of are probably players that he could find a play quicker than he would with a McTominay or or someone else. You would think that he would be more attracted to these guys than he would to midfield, because these guys always play it that way. They're not playing it to him, are they? They're always playing it to them.
Here's the killer.
Why
here's the killer, Jimmy. Yeah, here's the killer, Jimmy. If you were to give me a percentage of chance creation from them to Hojlund, what percentage do you think the chances of actually Hojlund getting delivered? Now, he's calculating that himself, and he knows it's probably less than 20%.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
And that's the problem, isn't it, Jimmy? You're 100% right, mate, because all you're doing is looking at it from a logical perspective. You're Hojlund, you're thinking, right, I'm going to fucking bust a gut to get in that fucking 6-yard box. Oh, shit. Where's the ball? Because Anthony's come across or Rashford's holding it and then knocking it back to Shaw and then Shaw. And by the time the ball comes in, Hojlund's got...
They're so afraid. I don't know why they're so scared to attack. They're so scared to attack. Yeah. It's really strange. Because when Hojlund is picked up on this now, I think that's where the other problem is. I think that's why he keeps going to search for the ball, because these guys are just not brave enough to give him the ball. And because there's times when just try it, because you're going to lose the ball anyway. It's not like we recycle the ball particularly well. It'd be different if you remember Louis van Gaal. It was frustrating because we were just recycling. So there wasn't. So even though we didn't attack, we had more possession than anyone for the whole season or something stupid. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, but we didn't do anything with it, did we?
But we didn't do anything with it. But but we always kept the ball. But in this situation now that we're in, even when we don't attack, we don't keep the ball either. So we're doing nothing in the game. You might as well just risk an attack, just get crosses in. And the frustrating thing as well, Manchester United are the only team, we just never cross the ball on the ground properly. And if we do, it's like this. Like I know this is not going to be productive, but I'm just going to give it a little go and we'll see if it works kind of attitude. It's like, no, if you mean it, if you watch the way Trent crosses the ball on the ground, he means that. He means that ball to find someone in that box. It just doesn't it doesn't feel like that with our wingers. It just never feels like that.
When it comes down to quality, I believe. I just want to say now we're rounding the 2-hour mark, so we got to wrap it up, guys. Any final thoughts before we go? We can do a round if you have anything. Shout out your socials or.
I just want to wish everybody a very, very happy Christmas. If I don't see you before Christmas, and a very happy New Year, guys. I'd also like to thank Jarvis and Mick and Mark and Uncle Jimmy and everyone else who I work with, who's made me feel really, really welcome on this channel. I've only been a regular really for about 6 months, I think now, something along those lines. It feels very, very new to me, but I like working with like-minded people with myself who just love football and can talk football and respect everybody's opinions, and that's why I love the VAR room. They respect our opinion, and everybody's really respectful on this channel. I'd also like to say, just please always remember Christmas is a tough time for a lot of people, and if you do know people, you've not heard from people, just give them a hug, give them a call, just a text, are you okay, that type of thing. Mental health is really hard, really hard. And I'll tell you what, we all need people to love us, don't we, so please. So that's from me. I've had a great year, and I can't wait to, if they'll have me back next year, I can't wait to work with you guys again.
Everyone has too much food at Christmas. Invite someone that you know is on their own. Share some food, man. Share some food.
Absolutely.
Big up, Craig.
Some food.
Yeah, Craig, Stephanie Griffith, Rushmano comes in here with a lot of praise and love for the great words from Stu Woolley. Anyone else have the final thoughts?
Yeah,
I just think they need to carry on. Go on, bro. Go on.
I was just gonna say the same thing, Jimmy. So you could might as well take it home because I know you have to go just now.
Yeah, no, I just I hope they just carry on, man. They need to just continue the way that they the way they played against Liverpool, in the sense of they didn't look scared. It was the first time that we didn't look shaken by the occasion. We didn't look too afraid of them. We're just young team as well, chopped and changed, put together with some duct tape and all sorts of things. So it was for me, it was a satisfying game to watch, and I hope they carry that on. I don't expect anything special, man. Just give me some decent football. That's all we ask. Work hard, give us some decent football. Old school.
Yeah.
100%. Just come out and give it your all. Just show the fans that you're coming out there and you're giving it what you have, and that's all we could expect. I mean, like I will say, we're in a rebuild season, guys. It still have some bumps to go. I tell Jarvis and Mick all the time, I expect us to lose 10 games this season. We're on 7, so we might have 3 more to go. But I also say by that time, we would have found the best starting 11 and the direction we need to be going in. Yeah. So, it's not one of those things where we won't be improving. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to thank everybody in the VAR room, Lilis, Craig Warby, Ivo Bosic, Lucky Singh, Richo 65, Lise Jensen, Olsen, Jamie Wayne, Rushmano, Madhouse, Neil Driscoll, Stephanie Griffith, who else? We Deserve Better, Tony One Kenobi, and Craig Borby comes in with a super chat, guys.
That's it.
Big up, Craig.
Super chat. Super chat.
So thanks to Craig Warby. Great show, guys. Merry Christmas all. So that will be the final word. So thank you for tuning in. I'm not sure how the schedule will be with the streaming for Christmas. Maybe we will be back next Monday, if not the Monday after that. So Jarvis Corner, thank you, and have a good one, guys. See you later. Bye. Wrong one.
Love it.
That's all, folks.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.
I can top